My babes, I'm gonna make this video very quick because look at this one. Oh, yatta. Needs to go for a walk, needs to go for early morning walk. So let me make this really quickly. In the last video, we spoke about how to reset the dynamic between you and somebody who keeps on overwhelming you in a conversation, that you are trying to set a boundary with this person, that you are not willing to accept this certain treatment anymore. Okay, and this person keeps on shifting the topic. Whenever you bring up a little thing, one thing that you finally decided you had enough of. So in the last video, we hit a reset, we drew a line in the sand. After you've had that conversation, at the next thing that you decide to address with this person, before I tell you at the next conversation, I'm going to tell you what is important. What is important is, once you've set a boundary, is consistent application of the boundary. Now, a boundary is not there to control somebody else. Okay? That's what we first need to, at the very base, needs to understand. A boundary isn't there to control what other people do, because you can't control what other people do. But you can control what you accept for yourself, and that is what a boundary is. What you are willing to accept. And when they've reached the threshold, there is a consequence that you are consistent with. Okay, so after you have drawn the line in the sand to say the past is in the past, we're not going to bring up van toer jare. We are going to take it from here. This is how you're going to reset your dynamic with every conversation going forward. The first thing you need to do when you notice a feeling bubbling up inside of you, something is bubbling up inside of you, you feel you. I've said it before, and I'm going to say it to you again. You need to name that feeling, whatever the feeling is. It can be belittling, it can be demeaning. That person could be trying to dismiss what you're trying to say, invalidate what you're trying to say to them. Name it, because as soon as you give it a name, you're going to notice that it has less power over you. So somebody comes to you, and let's stick with the example of the cell phone. Your phone is old. Oh my word, the phone you're using is so old. Name it one time. This person is trying to embarrass me. Embarrassment. Name it on the inside. Do it quietly on the inside. When you name it, you can claim it. And when you claim it, you can control it. And in that moment, you pause. Stop. No reaction. No reaction. There are different ways that you will be able to continue from that point. But what you need to do is put space in between when you perceive somebody coming at you and your response to it. You need to put space between stimulus and reaction, because right now there's no space, and that is causing you to not think clearly. Okay? When you stop and you start asking yourself questions, you will start to think more clearly. You will start to be able to articulate what it is you're trying to say better. Now, the first way is how you can respond to the person in that moment is to repeat the words back to them. I have an old phone. They know what they're doing. You also know exactly what they're doing. Now, in the past, oh my word, this dog is farting. I have to go take her for a walk like now. Ooh, girl. Jou mag vrot meisie. Ooh. Shoo. Anyway, focus. Previously, how you would have responded, oh my word, that hurt my feelings. Or, so what, I have an old phone, your techies are old. What are you doing? You're giving this person ammo. You're giving them ammo. That's not what we're going to do in 2026. You're going to stop. You're going to respond in a different way. Okay? The first thing is, instead of them putting the spotlight on you and then you keeping the spotlight on you keeping the spotlight on you with, when you say, when you give it back to them just like they're giving it to you, they want to come at me, I'm going to give it back to you. You keeping the spotlight on yourself, because all they do is they turn around and say, oh my word, what an ugly person. And they don't say it in those words, but that's the message that they get across. Okay, so you need to take the spotlight off of yourself and put it right back on them. And the first way to do that is to repeat their words back to them, to say, I have an old phone. I have an old phone. That's one thing. You could go quiet, completely quiet, and then not bring it up because you're not ready to speak about it yet. You're not ready. So if you're not ready in that moment, what you can say is, wait, stop. Let's speak about this at a later time. I'm not ready to have this conversation right now. I can see I'm not in a space to have this conversation. Let's pause it. I can't get into this with you right now. And then at a later point in time, when you are ready, when you've thought about what you want to say, you can say something like, I'd like to revisit that conversation. And I'll give you some kind of things that you can use, and I'll give you the skeleton and you can add on the meat in up and coming videos. But that's how you can restart the conversation when you are ready. Another thing you can do is to ask the person, like I said previously, you can ask them, did you mean to embarrass me? Did you mean to embarrass me? Did you mean to embarrass me? Okay, so you can approach it in different ways. And if it's not received in the way that you want to, and they start shifting the topic, so you didn't pause first and you just started giving back the way that they gave to you, and they start, yeah, and you said this on that time, and so it doesn't apply now, so you want to tell me this, and this is the way that it's making you feel, and what about the time when you did that? At that point in time, that is when you need to bring up that line in the sand that you drew, and you said, we're going to leave the past in the past. That is the point where you remind them. And you don't say, we agree to leave the past in the past, so that's what we're going to do. No. Nope, that's not what you're going to say. I would like to keep this conversation focused on this. What I am bringing to you right now is the impact of what you just said to me. I'm happy to have a conversation about what you just brought up, but we're not going to derail this conversation and shift the focus away from what I'm bringing to you right now. Let's keep a note of everything that you want to talk about. Let's talk about it later. But for now, I want you to understand, this is what I'm not happy about. What did you mean by that? What was the outcome that you were hoping when you said this? Let's talk about this. This is what's on the table. And you do that every single time that they try to shift the focus away from what you're bringing to them right now. I have to take my dog for a walk, my babes, or else she's gonna stink up this whole place. All right, that's all from me for now. See you in my next one. Okay, bye.